Okay, boom. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning into a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this evening. We have an incredible guest with us tonight, one who's going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration, and that is none other than Brother Farad Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam. How are you, my brother? And thank you for having me on your show. I've been watching you for a while, and it's an extreme honor. You know, I've been promoting you as well. You know, and I just want to say thank you for having me.
All praise due to Allah. The honor is mine, sir, and ours. The first question that we want to know, sir, is because our people are saying, giving you greetings and showing love all across the country already. Walaikum salam to Sister Miriam, my Sister Miriam, and my Sister Naima. Walaikum salam, you all. For those who don't know, this is the brother who is behind the amazing channel on YouTube that was once up, that was sharing and spreading information, freedom, justice, and equality all over the internet. And that was the Savior's Helper, correct?
That's right, Savior's Helper channel.
Savior's Helper channel. I know I would send it to many people, and I would watch the clips as well, sir. You did a great job. We're going to get into what took place with your channel. But the first question we have, sir, is when did you first hear the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
Well, to be honest with you, there was a wise man who was a teacher of mine in the second grade. And he dropped a lot of jewels on me. And I remember he used to do this. We'd be in the classroom, and he would actually go, shh, quiet, and shut the class up. Second grade now, and shut the class up. He said, we're going to go upstairs to another room. So we tippy-toe up the steps to another room as if he was doing something that he didn't want anybody else to know. We'd get in this room, and it'd be a projector in there, and he would show us movies, Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, stuff about our history, just dropping seeds on us. Later on, those seeds started to pop out. One of the first places I heard the name Elijah Muhammad was from an army general. I was in the Boy Scouts at the time. And when I was in the Scouts, in order to be a scout, you had to go through a process, like the processing class of the FOI. In fact, they bit from us. You actually had to write a letter and recite lessons to become a Boy Scout. The letter was exactly like ours, it was just different wording. And that's how I became proficient in letter writing and became one of the letter writing instructors at Mosque number 7 with a 99.9% success rate. And only one brother came up to me and said, I didn't follow your instructions, brother. And that's why my letter didn't pass. But he was the only brother that failed. Everyone that came through my class won because I took the methods from both the Boy Scouts of America and what I learned in the nation, and I combined them with my own intuition by the grace of Allah, and was able to fashion a way for the brothers to actually get that letter passed with precision. Anyway, when I was at this meeting, to go back to that army general, I sat there, and the general comes in, because now when you're in the Boy Scouts of America, they're really looking for the best of you to join the United States military. It's a segue. It's a prelude to joining their army. So basically, I'm not there for that. I'm a black man in the hood. I'm there for a way out of the hood, but I was not choosing the military. In fact, I was in the Army Cadets before that, and I chose the Scouts because they have more fun. Rifle and shotgun, archery, always going out and camping trips and things of that nature. So the general was talking, and he says, he holds up Message to the Black Man. It's the first time I ever saw this book. Now, I might have been about 13 years old. He holds the book up. He's got bars all over him and medals, and you know, he was well fashioned and decorated. And he said, this book is a good book, but this man is evil. Don't ever listen to this man. Now we in a Catholic church, in a gym, because that's where we met. And this is what he's saying about the messenger of Allah in a Catholic church. He's saying this book is good, but he's an evil man. And he also said, I give tooth and nail to have just one of his soldiers. Something to that effect. So as a young man, that was a seed dropped. And you know how beautiful the book Message to the Black Man is, right? Woo, that's stamped in my mind. And the design of that book is like a red light. It's like a stamp. Once you see it, if you ever see it again, you're going to be like, I saw that book before. Let me pick it up. And it would be because you had already seen it before, because of that stamp in your mind, that positive, strong image of a Black man in the fez just staring at you like you belong here. And that comes across your spirit when you look at that book. And if you deny it, you'll see it again, and eventually you'll pick it up. I believe that was a great marketing by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to design that book that way. And that's one of my fortes, marketing and advertising. So what I'm saying is that may have been some of the first times I've ever was exposed to the teachings, but what cracked that atom was Public Enemy #1.
Okay.
One. Chuck D, Farrakhan's a prophet, and I think you ought to listen to. What do you say to you? What you ought to do is follow for now. Come on now. When I heard that, it was like, who's Farrakhan? You know, I had my own personal relationship with Allah at the time. I've always been that type of brother. You know, when I was in the streets, yeah, I hung out with brothers who was doing things that was, you know, even myself doing things that we should not have been doing. This was my sickened state of mind. Like most of us in our sickened state of mind, we get caught up because we really looking for love. We looking for friendship, what is it? Camaraderie.
Camaraderie, yes, sir.
Right, camaraderie. We're looking for shoulders to lean on, people to understand our problems, our woes. Fathers are not in the homes. So it's imperative that we find something to lean on because we're crashing at the house when we should be rising from edification. Well, I got that when I finally got into the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad through the Final Call newspaper. Thank Allah for the FOI who walked by on 125th Street, Brother Elliot, Brother Dana at 125th Mart. That was the primary source of education for us at the time, for those of us who were in the streets who were just waking up, seeing the Malcolm X film, you know, getting caught up with Do the Right Thing and other films that were out there inspiring us in the 90s to become better, you know, and giving us a taste of what it was like to be in a nation by seeing films like the Malcolm X film. We wanted to be in it so bad, we auditioned for it and everything, you know, back then, you know what I mean? When Do the Right Thing came out, it was just another thing that had everybody wearing braids and African bees, and then you had the Jungle Brothers and other rap groups out there, like X-Clan, and they were just all pumping that positive, and we were with it. But when Public Enemy came out, and Rakim came out, and dropped the teachings and the 5% lessons and all of that, which is originally the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, you know, that's what sparked it for me. You know, the legendary Tupac once said, I may not be the one to liberate our people, but I might be the one who sparked the one that will.
That's right.
Well, it was Chuck D that sparked a whole new regiment to get with Farrakhan, and 15,000 men all the way from the Armory to the Bronx over a bridge stood and chanted his name, Farrakhan, Farrakhan, Farrakhan. As he was teaching, he stopped us all. And he said, it's better that you say Allahu Akbar. I was at that meeting with $1 in my pocket. Matter of fact, I didn't have no money. I had a token in my pocket, one token. I stood on the line and I had paraphernalia all in my pockets. Drug paraphernalia. I was in army fatigues. I was straight hood. I had crews. I stepped to precincts. This is the type of brother I was. Dolo. And Dolo just means one deep, one person.
Yes, sir.
I was definitely a fighter for our people before we even came into this. In fact, one of my motive operandis was to start up my own organization because I was looking for an army. We had the money to do it, but we didn't have the heart. So I realized the brothers that I was running with, yeah, they was with the streets, but they wasn't with the liberation movement. So I said, man, do I have real brothers here? What do I have? And it made my quest and the surge in me, the urge in me grow to find an army. And when Public Enemy said that, I found myself at some point at the armory watching Minister Farrakhan. And when he stopped us from calling his name, and he said, it's better that you say Allahu Akbar, God is the greatest.
Yes, sir.
I was shook. Now, mind you, when I was on the line before I got in, I told the FOY who ordered me to take all that stuff out of my pocket. The whole line was looking because it was so much. And I was pouring it out. And I said to the brother, I said, brother, if I could do this today, and this is the right thing, I'll never go back. I'll never touch another cigarette. I'll never touch another blunt. I'll never fornicate. I'll never do none of that. If this is right, if this is who I think it is. So the minister went and said what he said. And I said, man, there's no way in the world a man could be born out of the Bronx and be that selfless that he'll turn down the praise from 15,000 Black hood soldiers and give it to a God he doesn't believe in. That would be insane, and it's breaking hood laws completely. You know, we wouldn't even respect you if you did that and you pointed us in the wrong direction. In fact, that would be automatic beatdown. But it was something about the brothers when they was drilling that showed us that it was order going on. It wasn't sporadic. It wasn't something that was shooting from the hip. This was military training. So when he said what he said and the FOY stood there firm, it just let me know, yes, he is selfless. It is possible to be a righteous man and have a brotherhood. I, from that day forth, didn't smoke a blunt. I didn't drink. Brother, I've been sober and clean, as they say, as I'm celebrating my 28th year as a member of the Nation of Islam this year. And I have to say that it's the best decision of the best decisions I've ever made in my entire life. Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Thank you, Brother Minister.
Excellent, sir. Excellent. Beautiful teaching. People showing you love all across the country.
Praise
the name says all praises to Allah. And
Thanks
please
for
let us
being
know
here.
what city you're watching on YouTube. Can't wait to put this up for everyone who is watching. Okay, yes, sir. My next question is, Brother Farad, we spoke earlier about the importance of healing. Why do we need to heal? What do you think that the importance of healing is?
The importance of healing?
Yes, sir.
Self-preservation. It's the first law of the universe. You know, if you are not preserving yourself, you're not on an incline towards the love of God. You're on the decline towards the hate of self. In order to heal yourself, you have to find a greater love for yourself because it takes work to heal. And if you're working and your why isn't strong enough, you can't get past the hurdles that are coming that will demand more work from you in order to heal. You can't get past what tastes nasty, medicine. You can't get past wearing a cast for six months or whatever the time it takes to wear the cast. You may break it off early because of your impatience. You may say, oh, I'm tired of eating this nasty soup. I want to go back to eating pizza and go to eating your pizza. And now your condition worsens because you caked yourself up. You may get impatient with the process, but the greater love that you have for yourself, brothers and sisters, will help you to endure. It's imperative that we endure these times as we usher our people to the hereafter. They're looking for us to be that vanguard And speaking of Vanguard, salute to all the sisters who inspired my family today on the webcast, man. That was off the chain from headquarters today. Vanguard retreat. I'm so elated just thinking about it because the sisters have endured so much. And I, for one, have always advocated that we needed more sisters in the ministry class. You know, that was a heartbreak for me growing up in our nation and not seeing sisters who I knew were very capable of rocking the mic with truth, not given the opportunity that they deserved. And they were always dropping seeds on us. And we were like, man, this is sister minister right here. Why is it, what's going on? You know, but later things were revealed to me. You know, we got a lot of checking up to do. In our restrictive law, you know, needs to be put back at the center of our focus, you know, so that we could actually heal, because it's a healing in the restrictive law. Obedience to Allah, it's automatic. Please Allah, man, let me tell you something. I was going through a hardcore trial. I'm still coming out of it right now. But I was going through one of the thickest parts of my trial. And I had took some time out of the mosque. And there was a sister, and I have to thank her, Sister Captain Jonna. She called me one day and she said something to me over the phone that inspired me to come back home to the mosque, even though I was really sick. But the minister was speaking. It was when he spoke at the United Nations after the Million Man March. That was the second Holy Day of Atonement, matter of fact.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I was very ill. I got down there and I healed from being down there. I healed. I didn't heal completely, but I healed enough that I gained more strength. And I was like, wow. And before you know it, I was back at the mosque. You know, but it was overcoming that voice that said, no, you can't do it. You can't, you gotta chill. You want to be there, but what if you pass out? What if you, no, I said, no, I'm not. I just got this feeling that I'm gonna do it. It was my faith. And if we don't have enough faith, as I mentioned on the phone, brother, you ain't gonna be able to make it. Case in point, can any of us calculate the next move of Master Fard Muhammad? Because if you can, then you don't need faith. Because you could use your math. Oh, he's going to do this, I'll be here. He's going to do this here, I'll be there. That's how the devil thinks. But if you're thinking as a believer, you asking Allah to give me double portions of the spirit. Why? Because you need the faith to get past the points that you can't see or calculate. That's how important that is, that resource is. You must develop it in order to heal. It's impossible to heal without faith. This is why they sedate people. Because he's not going to make it, we got to put him out. We got to put him out because he can't take the pain. Or she can't take the pain. So let's sedate him. But a person of faith would be like, no. And they would resist that, even if they needed it, because they would believe that they could get past that point. And if the doctor could see that he might be able to make it without sedation because of the way he's pumping or she's pumping right now, they may not even sedate you until they absolutely have to. And that's where we need to come to the point where we don't need to be knocked out with a circumstance to wake up, but we just need to stand on the foundation that is left by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, following the example of his teacher, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Master Fard Muhammad, their teacher, and try to walk in that walk. But it's not going to be easy, man. But you can't say that faith is worthless. That's the way. That's the way to healing.
Beautiful. Yes, so you're teaching, Brother Ryan, people showing you love all across the country.
Praise be to
God. I don't know if this is Trinase X Ashford says Rochester, New York, represent X ASA. He's from Rochester. She's from Rochester. Says teach. Yes, and ASA family, walaikum salam, sir. My next question for you, sir, is you spoke about holding posts for the Most High Mr. Farrakhan when he was in New York. What was that like, sir?
Well, brother, it was astonishing. I realized as a FOI that you'll never know where you're going to be when it comes to being in these ranks. Wherever you are, if it's in your heart, because we're supposed to memorize the lessons to heart. That doesn't mean word by word verbatim. That means whatever you understand, put it here and walk.
Yes, sir.
It doesn't mean, because I could sit here and look at a bunch of what we call them, lit professors who can recite lessons, but they're dark on the inside. Dark as hell. They would give a brother supreme wisdom lessons, and I'm gonna get to your question, but this is something on my heart. They would give a brother the supreme wisdom lessons going against what Master Fard Muhammad said, which was, this is for registered Muslims only. And I say to you brothers who feel that that's something that should be given out to the people as if you're God besides God, would you take a brother, blindfold him, or a sister, take him to 1,141 feet high of Mount Everest, take him to the top of that mountain and remove the blindfold without telling that brother how he got there? That would be, man, how we say, dastardly? Asinine? Wicked? Because you're doing it to do what? To have somebody praise you? That you be the enlightener? This is not the way of Allah. He asked us to go through a process. So I was going through processing because I had access to lessons. I could have went on the streets and just bought them, but I was like, nah. I could have put on a FOI uniform and fronted. I said, nah, I didn't earn it yet. I haven't done anything yet to earn a FOI uniform. Even if I had the money, I wouldn't have bought it. I was like, I'm not buying that uniform yet. I haven't earned it yet. What have I done to where the sun, moves, and stars? What have I done? This was my spirit back then, and it's my spirit now. Now, when I went into the ranks, I got into the ranks. Salute to Brother Joe. Brother Joe in New York was, you could say he was one of our enlighteners, for real. You know what I'm saying?
Salute to Brother Joe.
Brother Joe Muhammad, man. If you watching, man, you and Sister Arnice, man, I gotta say thank you. Thank you for your brother, the representation of brotherhood and sisterhood. Brother Joe was at the helm of the processing class in New York, and he brought the processing class to the point where we were soldiering more final calls than the body of the FOI. It became embarrassing at FOI class that they had to actually tell the numbers of the processing class, and we would hear the thunder, because you know, in processing, your class is separate from the brothers.
Yes, sir. Yes,
so
sir.
You would hear the thunder and be like, what's going on in the FOI class? Yo, they cheering you on, brothers. You know what I'm saying? These moments that you're talking about are worth more than anything. The road and path of Allah I want for my people. We die on the streets if we could get these teachings to you, brothers and sisters, and we would smile at our deaths because we found God, and we want God to be happy with us. When we were in processing, we did everything we could to help Minister Farrakhan. That spirit is the spirit that a lot of us, after years and years of being in the nation, pray to have back. Oh Allah, please give me that spirit I had when I was in processing. You know how many brothers and sisters watching right now probably have said that? Probably all of them in my age range. you know, or and about, you know, even some of the young ones are falling off because they're getting caught up with certain cliques that are shunning the restrictive law, shunning the obedience and the laws that God has given us that help us to curtail and help us to stay on point and on target, on him, on the light. Processing was a beautiful thing. It was worth everything. Because if I hadn't gone through the processing, I would not have been here today talking to you. And let me tell you something. I almost quit. While I was going through processing, this terrible thing happened. And I'm gonna tell you straight up. I was on 125th Street, and I had been experiencing a lot of visits by the wheels. You know, sometimes you see them and you're like, oh wow. Well, I was going through that, and a brother was walking with me. We were soldiering on 125th Street, and one of the wheels went right across our heads as we were walking across 125th. We both looked up, we both saw it. It went over our heads. And I said to the brother, you seen that? And he said, yeah, I seen it. Oh, shoot, we both in awe over it. All the FOI and processing brothers are in front of the mosque. And this is when we were on 5th Avenue. When I get there, I'm so excited about seeing the wheel. I said to the brothers, brother, we just saw a wheel over on 125th Street. And what happened? The brother that was standing next to me, who was also in the process, he said, I don't know, what are you talking about? He denied it. So it caused a split. Some brothers said, well, what if he's telling the truth? Other brothers like, nah, he lying. So I went through a trial just off of that. And so did he. He's no longer in the ranks because he couldn't hold on for some reason. You know, because when you do something like that and you keep that spirit in you, and you know, and you don't atone, you know, you break up on the inside. But anyway, that was part of the trial of getting through it. And I was at the point where I was going to give my resignation, and I went up to local Captain Henry. I said, Brother Henry, I know you're not going to like this, but I'm going to resign. I'm going to give you my resignation letter. You know what he said to me? He said, why did you join in the first place? And I went back to the why. And I thought about Master Fard Muhammad. So I didn't do this for none of these brothers. I didn't do this for anybody but God. My why was greater than the trial. So why are you in the ranks? You want that double spirit back? Go to your why. And if your why is not great enough, then maybe you should recalculate and get back into processing. Get back into the teachings. Start reading. Get back into your Quran and ask Allah to help you with your understanding so that you can develop a greater why that would help you get through the trials that are yet to come and that you're going through right now. So every time I go through a trial, even in processing, as I was going through many, many trials, I mean, in New York, just think of how many times there's been attempts on our lives. How many times we've been in the street and had to hustle and fight just to get this word out. How many times we've either been spat on or had to deal with the police. I remember one time an officer was going to arrest me for selling the paper. And he was being very, very foul to me. And he said to me, you about to go to jail. I said, brother, I said, sir, I haven't done a daggone thing. I said, in 5 minutes, if you continue your persist, I'm going to call on my God and you're going to see something. And in 5 minutes, a brother came out of nowhere from the first resurrection and stood there and looked at that officer and looked at me and said, brother, what you want to do? The cop's heart just fell out. And I told the brother, and I remember the words of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and I told the brother, this is not the time or the place, but I appreciate for what you've done. And I told the brother to stand down. He walks away, but he stays in our view just in case the cop tried to cuff me. The officer then writes his ticket, but he said, don't worry about it. Just go to court. Don't worry about it. And he skates off. I go to court. He's not even there. And the judge is trying, the so-called judge is trying everything in his power to try to trip me up, but I kept my mouth shut and just said, walked out. That's faith. I knew my God was going to answer that prayer. And just like Muhammad Ali, I called it 5 minutes, sir. And you would have that same backing like Minister Farrakhan constantly shows us. He constantly shows us that we could do it, that we're just as worthy as he is when it comes to revelation. Many of us have dreams and you're afraid to talk about them because of mockery. Well, what are you hanging around people who would mock your dreams for? Why are you clicking up with people who would mock your dreams? Why be in that type of arena? Isn't Allah sufficient for friendship? Isn't Allah sufficient and His Christ sufficient? Who else is the dream maker? This is not us popping these dreams in our head, these visions. Our ears are ringing for a purpose. All of our ears are ringing. So what are we doing? We can't play with this. Master Fard Muhammad is calling on us and whooping a storm around us that we'll stand upright. Because we're like this, we're weebling and wobbling. But Black people, we won't fall down, right? But how are we going to stay up without faith? How? You can't calculate the next move of Master Fard Muhammad. I don't care what your letters are not going to do it. Esau taught us that. The knowledge of this world is not going to do it. And what you've learned of the lessons can only get you but so far. We about to get a new book. We about to go into a whole new paradigm. Like Sister Ava said, we're about to go through a whole new level. So you need faith to get there. Remember Moses, the story of Musa.
That's right.
What happened? They lost faith in him and Aaron. Why? Because they could not calculate what was going on. So the whispering of the slinking devil from within their ranks, if you excuse the expression, and from within themselves, they started to doubt. You're not doubting in the minister. We all saw it. It's all on video. You can see the faces of doubt. He saw it. He called it. It's not my swan song. That's you doubting that the minister's that God is going to carry the minister through. And then in the most recent meetings, he expressed similar things, letting us know that you're doubting. You can't doubt.
That's right.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave us lessons from Master Fard Muhammad. He taught us the weight of the planet. But you need to have a why that's strong enough, like an anchor, to get into that weight and hold you down, because it's about to be a shaking. And it's happening all over the world right now. Alaska got hit, or was it Alaska that got that tornado or typhoon? And Japan has another typhoon, and they're saying it's the greatest typhoons or weather phenomenons in 10 years that they've ever experienced. They're asking millions to evacuate from Japan as we speak. Mississippi has a water shortage, and they're already experiencing drought and famine. They got a hard taste of it right now. We are the vanguard. Why do you think there was a vanguard meeting of such magnitude? The word vanguard. We are the guardians of our people. They see us as such. We are the chosen ones. They see us as such. But shouldn't we be that and not just look like it? Didn't Minister Farrakhan constantly tell us, brothers and sisters, we look the part, we look good, but when are you going to submit to the restrictive law? We shouldn't hang around people who got a problem with talking about the restrictive law. It's not spooky to talk about being celibate. You shouldn't be ashamed to say you're celibate. You shouldn't be ashamed to say you're waiting on my personal development before I get married. You shouldn't be ashamed to say I am working on me. And you shouldn't have to shout it out as if you're not amongst the righteous. We got issues. Our ministries are falling.
Yes, sir.
Oh, good.
Yes, sir. That's why I didn't mean to cut you off. You're just getting so much love from people all across the country, sir.
Praise be to Allah.
Perfect. And people showing you love, and continue to like, share, subscribe. But Brother Fry, I wanted to hold the ministry thing because we want to go into the 9 ministries and the importance of that. But we have a quick 60-second commercial break for all of our sponsors of the People's Podcast. I wanted to make sure.
Go ahead, brother. Yes, I like when you do that, brother.
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir.
You gotta promote each other, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Brotherhood, man. Come on.
Here we go. Boom. There we go.
Brother Rashad Street Premiere. He has a 4K camera and a drone. He does television and film editing. Please reach out to him if you need any of those services. Sister Miriam's ABC I Love Me, children's book and coloring book, and now Spanish book. All 3 available on Amazon.com. Sister Naima's Stay on Point Dance Academy, LLC. She teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country, right here in the studios of Atlanta, Georgia. Rock Communications. If you're working on a book and you need copy, editing, project management, content development, or media relations, please reach out to Rock Communications. Student Minister Robert L. Muhammad's Conflict Mediation, squashing the beast throughout the Southwest region. He does a phenomenal job. His wife, Sister Fudia Muhammad's Giving Birth to a God and the Science of Child Rearing. Please make sure you go out and get a copy of her book as well. Fashion Gods, urban streetwear clothing for men and boys. 314-329-6009. He'll keep you dressed in the best of fashion. Brother Kenneth's Bow Tie Maker Extraordinaire. He'll ship you bow ties anywhere across the nation. Taj Hollywood's Chemistry 6 episode, a new television series out on YouTube. He's looking for actors and writers. Make sure you support him. Keep It Hood, helping others overcome depression. Also by Taj Hollywood. Brother Aaron's Elevated Places, stress management, real estate, credit, repair, and restoration. His Respect for Life Center. They do personal wellness, philosophy, emotional, and mental spiritual wellness. 229-344-1474. Dr. Henry Carter's King Henry Turkey Legs, right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Brother Rashad Muhammad's COVID-19 Disinfected Cleaning Services, out of Chicago. Student Minister Sharif Muhammad's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ, available on adulsharif.com. And lastly, Brother Joshua Muhammad's book, Cleopatra, as well as No Father, No Excuse, both available on Amazon. If you would like to donate or sponsor, please cash out the People's Podcast.
Okay, and perfect. Okay, and thank everyone for like, share, subscribe. Thank you, Mimi and Naima, for showing love. Right back to our brother Farad Muhammad of Brooklyn, New York. All right, beautiful. All right, my next question for you, sir, is the 9 ministries. Let's get into it. What is the importance of the 9 ministries and why are you so passionate about those?
Because our people need an opportunity, a clean glass next to the dirty glass, if you will. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that's all we needed to do. We didn't have to go hard on our people and spank them. All you had to do was put a clean glass next to the dirty glass. When the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan put us on our post as student coordinators. Now, I used to be the student coordinator of the Ministry of Science and Technology at Muhammad Mosque number 7. I also used to be on the Eastern Regional and Mid-Atlantic Regional Protocol staff over the our technical and social media aspects, if you will. For several years, I was at the helm at helping us to push the Million Man March, to promote it, and it took a lot of work to get not the Million Man March, but the subsequent marches. When I was appointed, those subsequent marches, when we really went all out on the internet, and we really did a good job. Hats off to everybody who was on our team, because we got the job done for the Holy Days of Atonement. Also was the brainchild, just to give you an idea of what I did, I was the brainchild of our first web-a-thon, which was at Mosque number 4 under Brother Kadir. We raised over $35,000, and I believe it was 2013 in 4 hours. And I was able to show and prove that the method worked, and I prayed that our nation would continue this, and we have, as we've experienced the success. And I'm so grateful that the prayer was answered, that it actually is helping us. Now, when it comes to the ministries, brothers and sisters, I'm not speaking from the hip when I talk about we're under attack, because I was ordered to shut down my ministry. You know what my response was? You didn't put me on this post. Minister Farrakhan did. You want to know how to keep your ministries up? Report all violations of orders you were instructed to enforce. And trust in Allah, and just follow that path and make that opportunity for the brothers and sisters who are coming in happen. You see, when you trust in Allah and you lean on Allah, no matter what anybody says with their mouth, their hands can be held back by Allah easily. You know Allah stops bullets?
Yes, sir.
I've been shot at point blank range more than once. More than once. And your enemies will be your footstool.
Oh,
I mean, I could tell you stories that'll take us into hours of dealing with agents, dealing with wild officers of the law, so-called, and people who just don't like us. They don't want us to be successful. But each of the ministries offer opportunities. The Ministry of Defense offers our women a way to protect themselves from being snatched off the streets and defend their children. How dare you tell somebody to shut down their ministry? This should be our spirit. What are we supposed to do about it? What do you think you're supposed to do about it? What did Minister Farrakhan say? You're waiting on a leader to do something for you. Well, why don't you find a leader within yourself and do it? I mean, look, we've seen videos from Africa, so-called Africa, of men standing before elephants, upright, and the elephant will walk right up to them and charge and stop right in their face. Many of us have seen that video. It's all over. Billions of hits for videos like that. You've seen videos of women fighting off wild animals from their children. When I was little, and I was living in Edgemere Projects, one of the worst projects in New York, I witnessed a frail, skinny Black woman beat up at least 20 police officers who were trying to cuff her. This is no pun intended on the people who wear the badge. We respect you. We got love for those who are sincere. You all know that. But they were unjustly trying to arrest this sister And I sat there with my mother watching it for at least 20 to 30 minutes of her fighting these cops off. And I was boggled. How is this possible? She's as skinny as a daggone pencil and they can't cuff her. I was like, man, that boggled my mind for years. Allah allowed me to see that to show me faith. Because I, in my life, would have been jumped by numbers of men. And I had the same situation in my life where I was jumped and I pulled on my faith and dealt with it. I was jumped in a church when I was little. Yeah, at a church event. And whooped all of their behinds because they was jumping a friend of mine. And this is when I was little. So I experienced this. And it wasn't the bow, like David said. It wasn't my fist. It was Allah. I stood on justice.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So if somebody says to you, hey, man, what are you doing with these ministries, and comes off kind of the foul way, just say, listen, man, if you don't want to be here, why are you here? I'm going to continue doing what Minister Farrakhan told me to do. Now, if your ministry has already failed, and I'm not jumping ahead of anybody, but my suggestion is to write our council and give them a detailed report of what happened, because we need policies in place. And I'm sure they're working on policies and procedures and protocols to help us with all of our problems and holes in our buckets. For example, we need policies on how to deal with catching agents. What do we do when we catch them? Here's a case in point. One day in Savior's Day, I caught a guy on post and he had a hidden camera on him. So I took him off the post. I took him off check post, called the lieutenant, let him know I'm taking him to the captain. Captain didn't know what to do. Captain says, let him go. What? Let him go? We need policies and procedures to help us with all of the things that we deal with. So when you write our headquarters, when you write details that would help and include solutions. Because they may not have the answer, but the answer may come through you. And then don't sit and wait for them to respond and say, oh, they never said nothing. Now you're slack talking. Or now you got a grudge against our headquarters because you didn't get a response. What if it was intercepted? You don't know what happened to that letter. So you have to proceed with your following. You have to follow your original instruction, which was to maintain your ministries and give your people opportunities that they may find the answer to their prayers in the doors of the mosque. So if the ministry's down, it's time to pick it back up. Now, what happened when the minister wanted to bring the nation back up? You had a sister Barbara, I think, a sister Captain Barbara, who was on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And
yes,
she
sir.
was. Oh, I watched that, brother. Excellent. Salute to her as well. She talked about how she would call all the old believers and try to get the brothers and sisters to get behind Minister Farrakhan. She was persistent and found that a lot of the believers had threw away their lessons and done away with the restrictive law, et cetera, and lost faith. But she was able to galvanize, her and a couple of believers were able to galvanize a few believers together, and they started pumping the teachings back up and back in Minister Farrakhan. Before you know it, wherever Minister Farrakhan went, she was there. She became one of the cooks of the minister in Philadelphia.
Yes, sir.
She's very well, she knows your family very well. She expressed herself in such a gallant way. But this is the same thing we need to do to reignite the ministries. Get back on your post. Get back on your post. And this is your brother talking. In the name of Minister Farrakhan, in the name of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, in the name of the FOI, in the name of the MGT, in the name of Black people, get back on your post. And if anybody tells you that you can't do this, report off and stay focused and tell the believers, I'm reigniting the Ministry of Science and Technology in the name of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Who's with me? And if somebody says something stupid, write their name down and send that letter to headquarters and stay focused. That's my advice. But I'm not telling you to do that in a way that you think that you could just run and I'm just saying, be wise and let the leadership know and respect the leadership and let them know that that's your intent. And then you got to keep log of every move you make. Keep details of your success and send that to the council. Well, we got 3 members that say they want to join the ministry again. These are their names. These are their commitments. We had a deliberative dialogue, number 1. Send that to the council. That's going to inspire them. They're going to look back and say, man, look, the believers are pumping. The blood's pumping. We got to serve them. And then that's going to pump it up. Come on. What y'all doing?
Beautiful, Brother Farad. Yes, sir. And people showing you love. Thank you, Brother Nasir, who's tapping in and showing love to you, and people all over the country. And I can't wait to put this on YouTube. Yes, sir. My next question for you, sir, is what advice would you give to future fathers?
Future fathers? Well, when you say future fathers, you're talking about the young ones, I'm assuming.
Yes, sir.
Want to have children who want to have sex.
All right. Okay.
You know, that's what comes to mind. Because a lot of times when in this world, we are such a sex-driven society that we don't really think about fatherhood, but we know that's a consequence. So it's a gamble. Oh, I'm gonna have this sex, but I'm gonna pull out, excuse the expression. And she's not gonna get pregnant. Well, that doesn't always work. See, the devil has taught us to put sex before responsibility. Allah does the opposite. Responsibility first, then sex. I don't teach my children about sex until I see that they've gotten responsibility together. The devil does the opposite. He says, no, you got a feeling of sex. They're going to do it anyway. Give them condoms. Oh, the parents won't do it. We'll set the laws up so we can do it in the schools. And you'll give you a piece of paper that you won't read and you'll sign it and we'll be giving your children condoms. And before you know it, they're fornicating. And we're telling them that it's okay. There were cases where teachers, of one teacher in particular, was demonstrating sex on a table with her own body. She was reported and removed, but the damage was done. Children who saw that were affected by that. We allow our children to go to these schools. Well, if you're going to allow your children to go to these schools, then you have to instill the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad into them so that they can fend themselves from the evil. See, the evil that is coming into their ears through these so-called teachers, letters. Now, future fathers, if your intent is truly to be a father, I would say learn how to be responsible and be honest with yourselves. Are you ready to be a father? Let me tell you something, man. I went to about 15 years of the pain of losing a child. Not one, but 2. And after 15 years, I found out that one wasn't mine, but I went through that pain. Why? Because of fornication. See, they don't tell you the bad part in the movies. They don't tell you the consequences. Do you know what it's like to think a child is yours and to have the feeling of being a father who has lost their child? I saw a brother in the subway going nut one day and the police were about to converge on him. I told him, stand down. I got it. I was in uniform. I saw his pain and I saw what he was going through. And I said, brother, I know what you're experiencing. He was wilding on everybody. Looked like he was a crazy man. But the problem was he had just had an incident with his child's mother and she took the baby. So he was going through the motions And they were about to treat him like he was a problem. As we as FOY step into situations like that, that's why it's so important for us to be out there. And I was able to tell the brother enough to calm him down and let him know that God sees it all, that you're not alone. That's why I'm here. You about to get converged on by the police. They're right behind me. They're getting ready to pull their weapons out and deal with you. And I was able to calm him down, and I probably saved his life by Allah. And I'm not saying this to put myself up, but this is what FOI do. We all do this. Do we do this, brothers?
Yes, sir.
Put it in the comments, man. We all do this. MGT, y'all too. Y'all have y'all stories. But my point is, we don't want to go through that type of pain, because it could be worse than that. I had to go to court and eventually have a test done, and the test came back and found out that, and let me tell you, the sister almost got arrested because she sent false papers in to the judge with a phony lawyer. So he was gonna, regardless of how the outcome was coming, he had told me behind when she was offline that he was gonna have her arrested. I didn't want to have her arrested, even though she had done that to me, taking that child and didn't respond to me. But I didn't want to see her get locked up by the man, so-called man, because the only man I know is Master Fard Muhammad and those who are conjoined with him. These men, Minister Farrakhan, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Listen, it's imperative that you brothers understand what a Q-tip feels like before it happens in that spot. And you better ask somebody.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You don't want that.
That's a fact.
You don't want that. You don't want to see yourself explode.
Sure.
They don't tell you about these things. Responsibility first. Can you take care of a woman? Can you handle the tremors, of family? It's not always a smooth ride. You know, I remember hearing about our brothers and sisters before slavery. There were tribes that would train the men from baby on how to take care of the family. That they were ready to be married at the age of 15. Today, we getting licenses to drive at 18. Oh no, 16. License to drink at 23 in some states, 21 in other states. Why do you have a license to die? That lets you know you're in a world of Satan. So the education that you're getting about fatherhood has to come from God. Because if he'll give you a license to get drunk, get in a car, crash into somebody. 2 days after our sister died, Sister Ava, salute to her, me and a couple of other brothers pulled 6 people out of a car accident because a brother was drunk. And I screamed at this brother, told him, hit the brakes, you're going too fast, and he smashes into them. And I'm pulling these bodies out. One of them, a mother almost died. One of the children was autistic. His leg broke. He had back injuries, facial injuries, and head injuries. And I helped that brother by the grace of Allah. The little brother was about 7 years old. And when one of his family members came up to me and said, he's autistic, I said, now I know why I'm here. One of the reasons why I'm here, because I have autistic, somewhat the same type of children who have challenges. As a father, I was able to help that child. I held his hand all the way to the ambulance. This is the type of fatherhood we need, and this is the type of fatherhood Farrakhan makes. I don't think I would have had it in me if I was out in the world to do all of that, get the blood on me and pulling babies out. The car was on fire. But Allah put the fire out and we got them out. Praise be to Allah. So brothers, we need you to be responsible to the point where you will go into fire to save your baby. You see, these babies, they sometimes get on your nerves, and you got to be able to handle that and absorb that and return it with solutions and hugs. They don't always need you to be the commander. Sometimes they just need you to be daddy. And you got to know when to be the commander in chief of the house and when to be papa. And you can't get that from this world. You got to get it from the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. I bear witness. I've had many teachers in my life, so-called. I've been through the system. I've been through all sorts of systems of Satan. And I'm here because of Allah. He's the best teacher.
Yes, sir.
If you want to be the best father, then why not seek refuge in the best teacher? The one who gave you the manual of life in the Holy Quran. Why not? What have you got to lose? You got one life. Don't gamble. Go to Allah for guidance. He has given us the most honorable Elijah Muhammad as his last messenger, and he has given us the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan as his extension, and a great Jesus in our midst. Trust me on this. But I know that it's imperative that we read and we do our own research. But my life is a testimony of the validation of Brother Farrakhan as a Jesus, a lifesaver, a life giver, as he takes on the role of a Lord amongst men.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And he's so humble. He's so humble. So yes, brothers, that's what I would say to you. You need guidance. You don't need the type of guidance counselor that's not connected to God. You need somebody who's connected to God, because where do these babies come from anyway? The thought for you to be the father, where did that come from? The nature, the natural inclination for you to want to father a child, where did that come from? Wouldn't you like to get the knowledge from the source? Go to the source, brothers and sisters. And I say sisters because the same applies to mothers and sisters who want to be mothers. Go to the source of life, the dream maker, the one who sends you your thoughts that you know ain't come from you. That's my advice to you.
Excellent advice. All praise due to Allah. We just have two more questions for you. Brother Farai, you've been teaching and people are showing you love all across the country, and I can't wait to put this on YouTube.
Praise be to Allah.
If you can choose your favorite album of all time, what would it be, sir?
My favorite album of all time?
Yes, sir.
Woo! Man, on the brother side, Shaka Zulu, brother. That's crazy, that question. I have to pick one?
I mean, you can pick more, but we just talk about one.
All right. Fear of a Black Planet.
Okay.
Public Enemy. Rakim Paid in Full.
Okay.
Rhythm Nation by Janet Jackson.
Those are some great ones. Those are classics.
Look, I'm gonna tell you, and this is going out to Janet if you watching. I would love to see you come out with a Rhythm Nation 2, The Resurrection. You don't have to take the title, but I think her best days in the industry was under Rhythm Nation. Everything after that was like, for me personally, was subpar. But when you were in the spirit of that Rhythm Nation, Janet, saving lives.
Mm.
You were really doing it. And then something happened. What happened to our sisters? The same thing that I was talking about. We got shaped into iniquity. There's a sister right now who's playing a Jedi in a series, in the Star Wars series that's on Disney.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Her real name is Monique Denise Ingram, and for some reason they're calling her Moses. She plays the Reva. Now, check this out. For those who don't know, Jedis are basically gods.
Fact.
They got the whole concept from the lessons of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, from the Bible, from the Quran. They just mixed all the prophecy up and they came up with Star Wars. George Lucas, you know this is true. Anyway, she is turning to the dark side, and I watched a documentary about it, and one of the directors said that what causes her to turn to the dark side is that her fear and anger are what causes her to be turned. So bring this home. The assault on our sisters. What are they labeled as? They're fearful of being single. They're always angry. So they put those same elements in this sister to demonize her. And what does that do to the image of Black women in the minds of people who are Star Wars fans who number in the millions? And many of them are in law enforcement. So you see what's happening? This is why we need the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad into the ears to combat. See, we are the countermeasure to the missile that's coming right behind our sisters and our brothers, that's coming from the magicians, like the Pharaoh magicians. We are the countermeasure. We are the flares that pop out of an F-16 that confuse the missile and cause it to go into the flame of the flare and not the actual F-16. We are the FOI, the MGT and GCC. We are the countermeasure to Satan's assault on our children, women, and men. If that's not why you're here, then maybe you just need to be a citizen. You can still be in the nation, but we need soldiers to step up. And if you're not ready to put your life on the line for your people, then maybe you're not to be in the infantry. Maybe you're a citizen. And it's okay to be a Muslim follower of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Minister Farrakhan and not be a soldier. But if you're not willing to put your life on the line, because our links have to be like solid walls.
Yes, sir.
We have to be honest with each other. We have to be honest with each other, honest with ourselves. That's it. So we could save our sisters that are as a result of this onslaught through the machinations of this world, through the industry of entertainment, which is really sintertainment. And we got to stop being shine bots. To hell with the shine. I mean, really, you got a problem with one of your brothers or sisters because they got something that you want? Why don't you just ask God what he has for you? Why want what your brother has? These are the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You're stuck on the Joneses. You see a brother with a Ferrari? Oh man, God blessed him with a Ferrari. Where's my Ferrari? I'm doing the work too. Wait a minute. What if God is holding you back from a car because you might kill yourself in it? You can't calculate the moves of Master Father Muhammad.
Right.
That's why you need faith. It all goes back to faith today. All comes back to faith. You need that to survive. So, brothers and sisters, I just wanted to, and I know I probably went off this question. I've been praying. I always ask Allah, like I said to you, when you asked me to be on the show, I told you, I said, I'd love to, but I got to call on Allah and get approval from the God. And I had to wait for a sign to come, and I received it, and now I'm here. And if we all had that kind of approach to things, we wouldn't step in fecal matter in our lives all the time and be worried about the next move. Because you put that trust in Allah, you won't step in the crap move. You'll be able to tell who's an agent amongst you, because you won't be in the clique that has a problem with you being celibate. You'll be in the oneness of Allah, in the mind of Allah, going towards conjoining yourself with Him so that He can give you insight, that you may be a solution to the problems that you face in your study groups, that you face in your mosques. It's imperative that you make that relationship a priority between you and Allah, who appeared in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, the same way the minister does. He said one time he was driving and he had to pull over because his ears was ringing. He was getting a communication and he had to stop his car to be still so he could receive the communication from Allah. I don't know if you all remember him saying that, but I do. And that was giving us the key to radio in the head. Be still. Don't make a move if you don't know what to do. It's okay to say, I'm not sure. It's okay to say, I'm not ready. In the name of Allah, I'm not ready for whatever move you want to make. And wait for Allah to cover you and get the signs from Him and seek the signs of your Lord as it is written.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You see, you got to be able to stand after the departation of our minister. We got to keep our flag up. There's nothing else worthy for us to do but to keep the flag up. It is the light for our people. The sun, moon, and star, the universal flag, freedom, justice, and equality. It is the light. It is what our people have been praying for. We have been praying for the light, freedom, justice, and equality. Keep the flag up.
Yes, sir.
By all means. We have no other choice but to follow in the footsteps of Minister Farrakhan. We have no other choice. There's nobody else there. If you look away from Farrakhan, you see darkness. Turn on the news, you look away from the final call, you go to other papers, what do you see? Solutions? No. You see traps. Bear traps, human traps, whatever you want to call them, they're all traps. They even got the music called trap music. They're letting you know who they are. They're calling us niggas from the crowds because we are saying the word nigga in our music. And you got our children of our oppressors using the N-word. You want that? And I was bobbing my head to some music for some of the rappers because I love the music. I don't like the content, but a spirit came over me. And I had to stop it. And the thought came in my mind that Master Fard Muhammad is killing them. He's at war with our open oppressor and everybody who wants to join them. So if you're on the mic, brothers and sisters, and I'm saying this to the rappers, and you kicking, and the singers who are kicking those nasty songs, you are going to lose the protection of God. It's like every week, a rapper gets either shot or put in jail, or they're going through some extreme turmoil in their life that is beyond the norm. And now it's even the numbers are increasing, and we just lost PNB. We lost so many rappers. You could go on YouTube and you could see there's even a video of a rapper getting shot while he's rhyming on stage from it looks like he was sniped from a sniper. And this is what our children are seeing. And they're saying, wait a minute, if I can't be a rapper, what can I be? This is where we come in. You could be an FOI. You could be an MGT.
Yes, sir.
You want to rap and sing? You want to bring people to a high? Well, shoot, we could entertain each other. We don't need the glorification of this world of wickedness as a cane that'll break. We need a strong foundation.
Yes, sir. But for us, speaking of a strong foundation, and people thank everybody who can like, share, subscribe to people's podcast, and everybody showing you love. Brother Farad, what would you like your legacy to be, sir?
Wow, that's a deep question, brother. I never really think about that. I just want to do the will of Allah. You know, I'm not a shine bot. I don't really care about that. Let me tell you, I got a million skills, man. I got a lot of skills. I was telling you, I've been in the music industry. I've worked with Grammy Award winners. I've opened up for Jody Watley. I've done a lot. But I'm not here for accolades. I was doing security at Uptown Records in Harlem. No, excuse me, in Upper Manhattan. And I had the opportunity to just spit right there. I don't even like to use the word spit when it comes to rap. I had the opportunity. I worked for Russell Simmons. I actually worked on his estate as a guard on his estate on the weekends. I had plenty of time, opportunity, excuse me, to drop a demo on people. I rode the elevator with Sean Combs. I had the opportunity to just do the beatbox right there. I'm one of the best in the world. I orchestrated the first human beatbox battle and won. Back in the days, before this thing even got hot, I could tell you where all these beatboxers got their beats from. All of them. All of them, they all got their sounds from. I could tell you the origin of all of them.
Yes, Brother Farad, do you mind if you do something for us now?
Oh, come on now.
I'm just saying.
That always happens when I mention that. And I don't have an intention to do that. What I was just saying, brother, is that, I mean, I could do a little something.
Okay, please.
But I'm not really that good like I used to be.
Okay.
All right. Just a little, I guess. All right. Just a little something. Just a little something. I'm not as good as I used to be.
Yes,
but
sir.
That's because I haven't practiced. But if I had a challenge, if somebody stepped to me on something, I'd probably challenge them and knock them out the box overnight. But the thing I was mentioning is that the shine bot effect. That's a major problem in our ranks. You won't do something. You won't promote your brother. You won't push a flyer if your picture's not on it. You won't help your brother or your sister because you're not down with that program. Your name's not on it. Your name's not on the agenda. It's not helping you. It's not putting money in your pocket. So you're not going to help your brother. You're a shine bot. You're a robot under the control of Satan. And all you're concerned about is the shine. You're not alive.
Powerful.
Bow tie or not. MGT guard or not. You're not alive. You're a robot. And if you can admit it, like when you go to a rehab, one of the first things that you have to do is admit that you have a problem. Atone with yourself before your Lord on your prayer rug. And ask Satan to get behind you 15,000 feet. What else in the name of Allah? That's what you need to do. And that goes across the board with all sin. Entertainment should not be in your rooms, in your homes, in your cars. And if you're listening to it to be in tune with the youth, ask Allah to protect your soul as you listen to it. Say a prayer. Don't just indulge, and don't overindulge. You need to know about these names. You need to be in tune in order to save our people. Yes. You're putting the beats behind the lessons. Yes. That's all great, because a wise man once told me that you can't feed a sick lion with a pill. You got to put the pill in the meat. So that's what you're doing, my brother. You see what Brother Josh is doing? He's putting the pill in the meat. Brother, I knew you was going to be great. I knew it a long time ago at Savior's Day. I thank Allah. I asked him in prayer to please remind me to say this to Brother Josh. One day I was on host for Savior's Day, and I saw your father. And he was walking with another FOI, right? But that FOI, I don't believe was a security. He didn't have the persona, or he didn't look like he was able to secure our brother, your father. And me, I'm like, damn, where's the security for the Supreme? And I'm concerned because I'm like, I'm ready to run over there and guard him, right? Because he didn't have no security, right? And guess who was behind him? I believe it was you and another little FOI in uniform, little juniors. And y'all was just having fun behind daddy. And it shook me. And I'm saying to myself, damn, there must be some killer junior FOI security for Supreme. Damn, that's a man of faith. He got the babies watching it. Damn. And that's how I was thinking. I was shook. I was like, oh shoot, the little soldiers. Oh shoot. It was crazy, brother. I said, now I put two and two together, and it was the spirit of those children behind them. And I believe it was you. Yes, and I said, I bet you that was Brother Joshua. And I see, look at that spirit. It still hits me to this day, having seen you behind your father, brother. And I see you putting a pill in the meat, and you doing it wisely, brother. Praise
I'm striving, Brother Farad. I want to thank you and thank everyone who's watching. Brother Farad, your work that you've done on behalf of myself, my family, and the viewing audience of the People's Podcast. We thank Allah for your sacrifice and the sacrifices of your family as well, sir, to keep establishing Islam here in North America. And I'm very inspired by the work that you've done online, of course, with the Savior's Helpers channel. And I look forward to meeting you in person and partnering and doing some work in person in the future, inshallah.
Praise be to Allah. And I want to salute my wife, Sister Fatima, everything that she's done in the spirit of the Vanguard retreat and what we've experienced. And all the sisters, again, salute you for taking on that challenge. And I also want to ask y'all, I gotta plug my my business, brother. If you don't mind, if you guys need anything as far as flyers, marketing, advertising, go to artisticoperations.com, artisticoperations.com, and you can if you need a free estimate on photography, videography, editing, anything of that nature, 832-659-0099. Reach out to us. We've been doing this for many, many years. I'm about to put out a video, a compilation of all the flyers I've done for the nation. So far, it's about 35 minutes long, and it may go to an hour, you know, but we're gonna have, it's gonna be it's a work in progress, you know, but yeah, it's a lot of work we've been doing for almost 30 years by the grace of Allah.
All praise be to Allah. May Allah bless you and your wife and family. And once again, thank everybody who's showing love. My sister Naima says facts, beautiful. Everybody who's in the comments. This is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off of the People's Podcast. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Farad, and assalamu alaikum, family.
Keep the flag up.
Yes, sir.
All right.